Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Recovery Classroom. My name is Drew. I am an alcoholic, and today I'm a recovering alcoholic, and I cannot be any more grateful. If you're local to the Huntington, West Virginia area, come on down tonight, 5747 East Pea Ridge Road in Huntington for our Friday night crosstalk meeting. It's at Pea Ridge United Methodist Church. It's not a church service, not a revival meeting, just a group of drunks and drug addicts sitting around talking shop about how we got sober, how we're planning on staying that way. Tonight at 7 o'clock, the quickest hour in recovery. We'll see you there. I want to talk about a topic that came in last week, and Deb and Dren have already addressed this. They hit the nail on the head. They were spot on with their shares this morning. And I talked about this early last week, but just from a slightly different perspective. So today I wanted to throw my 2 cents in to the hat and share some additional insight. It's about sponsors when it's time for a sponsor to drop a sponsee. Keep in mind, that can work 2 ways too. So a sponsor could drop a sponsee, and a sponsee can also fire a sponsor. So before I go any further, let me say this. There are 2 critical things you need to understand when it comes to sponsorship. First and foremost, the sponsor is sponsoring somebody to keep the sponsor sober, not to get that person sober. See, I can't get anyone else sober. Just like I can't get anyone else drunk or high, I can't get them sober. I'm sponsoring other people to keep me sober. So that's the first point I want to illustrate. The second point I want to touch on is the fact that what the role of that sponsor is. The job of a sponsor is to communicate, to listen and to talk, to share how they got sober, how they handled certain situations in their life, not for how you have to get sober. They're not there to tell you how you have to do it, how you have to handle certain situations. So those are 2 critical points that you need to understand going into that sponsor-sponsee relationship. And the next part I wanted to discuss is having that initial meeting. If you're a newcomer looking for a sponsor, you need to have that initial sit-down meeting. And likewise, if you're a sponsor taking on a newcomer, you want to sit down and have that meeting, have a discussion. Anyone I've ever sponsored, I've always had basically, it's a big long list I pull up on my phone, and I go through bullet point by bullet point. Ask anybody I've sponsored, they'll tell you. There's a big long list. So kind of what to expect, or what I can and can't do, what I will and won't do, how frequent I'll be able to communicate with them, hey, text me or call me on these days and this time. Let's meet up this frequently so we can sit and discuss things. And I will give them some reading assignments or sometimes writing assignments. It just depends. But at the end of the day, that's where I'm able to set that expectation with the newcomer. And the newcomer can either agree to accept these terms and conditions, if you will, or they can say, hey, look, Drew, I don't think that's going to work for me. Okay, fine, let me go help you find another sponsor. And in my little spiel, if you will, I tell that newcomer, that person I'm talking to, I tell them right off the bat, hey, look, there may come a point in time in your recovery where I'm not able to give you the insight and the guidance that you need. If that happens, you need to let me know so I can help you find somebody else who does have that guidance and that insight that you might need. Likewise, there may be times whenever I'm looking at the newcomer, the person I've been helping, and I'm just not getting through. Something I'm doing is not clicking with that person. They're not getting the message. And then I start thinking, well, maybe I'm not giving them the experience that they need. So again, let me go help them find somebody else who can give them the experience. And you got to ask yourself, when is it time, if you're a sponsor, when is it time to have that conversation with the newcomer, with the person you're sponsoring? Well, let me put it like this. If they've relapsed 67 times, obviously you're not getting through to them. So it's time for them to go find another sponsor. If they are not fulfilling their obligation to that initial conversation that you had, if they told you, hey, I'll reach out to you 3 times a week, text message, I'll call you twice a week, we'll meet up once a week. If they're not doing that, then you need to start thinking, okay, maybe this isn't going to work. It's okay for you to go, look, let me go help you find somebody else. Your schedule, I understand your schedule is slightly different from mine. Maybe it just won't work. The flip side of all this is true. When is it time for the sponsee to drop the sponsor? That's a whole nother conversation, I assure you. In a nutshell, again, the sponsor is not there to tell you how you have to get sober, how you have to practice your recovery. And I don't care if you agree to it or not. I think that's foolish, in my opinion. That's foolish. I would never tell somebody I'm sponsoring what they have to do, when they have to do it. I would never tell them what meetings they can and can't go to, and I sure as hell wouldn't tell them how they have to practice their spiritual recovery. I just never would. At the end of the day, the sponsor-sponsee relationship is one of the most important relationships you will have within recovery. It's important that you sit down and have that initial conversation, that level playing field conversation, both of you guys together, so you can kind of set the expectations, if you will, to set the stage for what to expect throughout you going through your recovery journey. So with that being said, that's all the time I have for today. Thank you guys for letting me come in and share 5 to 10 minutes of your day with you. You guys absolutely keep me sober, and I could not be any more appreciative. If there's a topic you'd like to discuss, feel free to drop it in the Recovery Classroom Facebook Messenger, and one of us will take a look at it, and we'll see what we can do. We'll be talking again soon, guys. Remember, you can't get drunk if you don't take that first drink.